The air once more again is filled with campaign noises. The helicopters are hovering in the skies, dropping politicians in villages and hamlets. Big vehicles, fuel guzzlers, are snaking their ways through the villages of Kenya. And the politicians are once again addressing people from the rooftops of their cars. And with the politicians on top of their cars, especially from the government side, we are now left with no doubt in our mind that the campaign for 2027 has started. Never mind that the whole 4 years away. Don't ask what is good for the country, because we long decided that what is good for the politician is good for the country, and not the other way around. So as we focus on 2027, the question I want to ask myself today is, how safe is President William Samoei Arap Ruto in 2027? I want to attempt an answer, and I want to say it is quite possible that William Samoei Ruto can get and take a beating in 2027. That it may not be very difficult to defeat Ruto in 2027. And I'm going to look at two possibilities today. But before I do so, let me clear with the people who have been saying, Manyora, you never predicted anything right. I'm not a prophet. I want to tell these people that a pre-match analysis does not become irrelevant merely because one team won. Let's not confuse a pre-match analysis with betting. Betting is simple. You either win or lose. I place my bet on Man U, you place on Arsenal. Arsenal wins and you tell me, please count my money. It's gone. It's as simple as that. When we make analysis, we look at certain factors. And on the basis of those factors, we can reasonably conclude or predict that candidate A has higher chances of winning than candidate B. Indeed, as in 2022, and as I will be showing in a video next week, it was highly unlikely that William Ruto would have won the election. And I did say he would not win the election. But I also quickly hastened to add, Raila Odinga could lose the election. And Raila Odinga lost the election. Ruto did not win. I will explain that in a video next week. So today I want to look at 2027. But first I had to clear with these people who think we are soothsayers or prophets or we are betting. We are basing ourselves on facts and factors. So for 2027, I want to look at two people who can send William Samoei Ruto home and why. One is the most unlikely candidate in terms of his demeanor, in terms of his laid-back approach to politics, the gentleman of Kenyan politics, Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi. Some say because his father was so powerful and is not, fire begets ash. But I also add, Kenyan politics is not for the dramatic. The man least expected to succeed Jomo Kenyatta was Daniel Arap Moi. I remember reading an analysis of the possible successors, Jeremiah Nyaga, Jackson Harvester Angaine, Dr. Mungai, Njoroge Mungai, Munywawa Yaki, and others, Masinde Muliro, the uncrowned prince. Nowhere was Moi mentioned. Needless to say, he not only became president, but did so for 24 good years. Kibaki was the proverbial fence-sitter, a man who couldn't hurt a fly. Sitting in the middle of the road, people always fearing he could be bumped over by a car. With the moniker Kigwaya, the coward, General Kigwaya, Kibaki became president for 10 good years. So, politics is not always for the dramatic, and for that reason, let us not dismiss Musalia Mudavadi. Why does Musalia Mudavadi come with big numbers? Again, I want to explain something. 2027, I do not see an outright winner. There must be a runoff, and there will be a runoff. Much more so in 2032. I see 2027 producing 3-4 candidates, and the 2032 producing 4-5 strong candidates, and therefore the need for a runoff. Before you dismiss it, look at the difference between William Ruto and Raila Odinga in terms of votes. Forget about issues of rigging, what have you. Let's just go with the figures Chapkati gave us. A mere 200,000 votes, where there was a turnout of 14 million. And look at Wajakoya, who got about 60,000-70,000 votes. Wajakoya required just perhaps another 140,000 votes, and there was going to be a runoff. But also remember, there was something fishy about Wajakoya's votes. I have it on authority of a doctor in Eldoret, who was convinced by the vibes from Wajakoya, and he voted for Wajakoya in a specific polling station in Eldoret. When the votes were announced, Wajakoya did not have a single vote in that polling station. The person we are talking about is not just anybody. A qualified doctor, an educated person. They cannot have mistaken Wajakoya for Ruto or Raila Odinga. Remember also, in the Raila 1 petition of 2013 in Mutunga's court, Keith Kilonzo, that wonderful young lady, demonstrated to the court that votes from fringe candidates were taken away from the fringe candidates, people like Muite and Dida, and added to Uhuru Kenyatta's. It's on record of the court. Nobody in the court rebutted that evidence. And she famously put it that way. Even the little they had was removed, so that unto those who have, it shall be added from those who have least. I'm paraphrasing her and the Bible at the same time. She made it very clear. So what am I trying to say? Wajakoya needed to get just 200,000 votes, and there would have been a runoff. Even my mathematics may not be right. It could even be less. And how does it then work next year, next election? William Ruto still has the mountain. No doubt about that. The crowds that receive him, the claps, the celebrations, indicate that he's loved. But the truth is there are mamas on the mountain. And before you jump on my neck that I don't understand Mount Kenya, the way somebody told me, somebody high up there. Remember Raila Odinga, even with all the claims of rigging, managed 1 million votes from Mount Kenya, or thereabouts. I see a situation in which the Kikuyu may still vote with William Ruto, but you only need some strong candidate to come up from Mount Kenya, and there's a runoff. So yes, there will be a runoff. Before I leave Mount Kenya, You never know. And I've argued this strongly. Rigathi's chances are highest in 2027. Because by 2032, so much will have changed. And the current people who can contest for the presidency, Kalonzo Musyoka, Mudavadi, Rigathi Gachagua, and all these people, they will be past 70 or around 70. And the world will have changed so much by 2032 that, my friend, it will be a dream for any of these people to contest for the presidency. And if you are looking at 2032, you don't look beyond Sakaja. People of that age, Babu Wino, those are the people who will be in contention for this presidency. That age group. Sifuna if he wants. People who resonate with the young people. And the world will have changed. This TikTok world, Generation Z, whatever it's called. So the chance is 2027. And if that happens, you can see why there will be three or four candidates, and therefore the need for the inevitability of a runoff. So let me go back to the Musalia Mudavadi. Musalia Mudavadi is a man who can challenge Ruto successfully by defying William Ruto in a contest in which there are 4 major players, 4 major players. If Musalia Mudavadi were able to mobilize the Mlembe nation, which I have no doubt by now should have the leading numbers in the country. If we had the wherewithal of Moses Masika Wetangula, or even if Papa Oroma himself got the courage to face Ruto and mobilize the Luya Mlembe nation, you'll put votes on the table that will rival with Kalonzo's votes, that will rival with Ruto's votes, and a guy from the mountain. And among the 4, 2 will go for a runoff. Dismiss Mudavadi in that runoff placement at your own peril. Or Manueta, Papa Oroma. The Luyas are the community that can successfully snatch the presidency from Ruto in 2027. Before you accuse me of being a tribalist, then I guess I'm not even a Luya. I'm a Luo, or a Kalenjin, or a Kenyan. The next person, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka can recreate the rainbow moment of 2002. All he needs is a tosha from Raila Odinga. Imagine a situation in which Raila Odinga blesses Kalonzo Musyoka. Already everybody within the Azimio ranks, almost everybody you talk to, from the general voter to the leadership to politicians, they see Kalonzo Musyoka as the man carrying the baton, carrying the flag. Imagine the magic of the Raila Tosha. Not only in the Tosha moment itself, but the fact that there have been people who have been having reservations about Raila's ability. That change moment, the change that is not Raila now, that it is somebody else, Kalonzo Musyoka. And for those around the mountain especially, who have been selling fear, that Raila is a demon, devil incarnate, he'll come and eat our children, they will have nobody to talk about in that manner. Kalonzo Musyoka becomes a lethal card in 2027. In fact, Kalonzo's candidature will be a rainbow moment. All depending on whether his elder brother, Raila Odinga will give him support or token support. If Raila Odinga gives Kalonzo Musyoka really support, I have no doubt in my mind that the number of people who will come on board, including, for example, Papa Aroma deputizing Kalonzo Musyoka, a ticket with Papa Aroma as running mate to Buffalo Soldier, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. I'm telling you, like I told you, say Usubui, in the morning that thing, imeenda. Because it will create a momentum, it will create a wave, a euphoria in the country that will sweep Ruto out of his feet. But again, so that people don't call me names, I'm just looking at the factors. And I'm just saying, going to 2027, if nothing bad happens to any of these players, if Raila decides he's not running, because it's within his right to run. And for those who dismiss Raila in terms of age, I dismiss you. All the people have done wonderful things, including Malaysia, where a 93-year-old former prime minister who had handed over power to a person who later messed the country, the person who was found with foreign currency in his house as if he was the central bank. The guy was recalled at 93 years old. The Catholic community is a big community. How old is the Pope? And therefore, if Raila decides not to run, that's the situation I'm talking about. He backs Kalonzo fully. That Tosha moment will be enough to scare William Samoei Ruto. Just as my brother Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, by defying Ruto, that alone, that act of defiance alone will galvanize the Luhya community. And all Mudavadi will need is to look for a running mate from a community that has the potential of succeeding him. In one of my tweets I say, it will be the Muslim community. Earlier on, I have said, it is time for a Muslim to lead this country. And it's not far from now. So by Mudavadi seizing that opportunity, giving them a head start, in an arrangement where they succeed him, makes Mudavadi a lethal card for 2027. We will look at other candidates in the future episodes.